an answer from Anurag Sharma.
Very quickly.
And so I think the opposition is not being heard at all. And so the people of this country are not being heard.
See, very quickly, Maria, let me put on record the following. The fact that Nirmala ji is not well was brought to the notice of the opposition. And we said we wish her well, please get well soon. We want her to. But we also said no issues, don't delay this, get any senior minister or MOS to reply. Now, let me also remind your viewers that when the farm law, the farmers' bills were introduced, the Defence Minister of India addressed the Parliament. So, if in that case, the Defence Minister can issue an agricultural bill and a farmer's bill, today the BJP to say, oh, Nirmala ji is not well, I think is just an excuse. Secondly, when we protested the farm bills where so many members were suspended and this government and this party put out the same arguments that my learned friend from the BJP has put out, we were stood vindicated because the Prime Minister of India had to withdraw the farm bills. So they have to understand that what the opposition MPs are asking for inside the house is the mood of the nation.
Okay.
Don't bypass it. That's undemocratic.
Anurag Sharma, on one hand, you make this argument that the opposition is not concerned about the Aam Aadmi. They are only concerned about themselves, like what is being said in the context of Sonia Gandhi and the protests of the Congress party. Same thing being said in the context of the Aam Aadmi party, that they are interested in what is happening with Satyendra Jain and not with the Janta and the issues of people. If the opposition MPs are interested in raising questions that impact the Aam Aadmi, then why not ask any of the other ministers to respond to them?
Let me just clarify two things. One, we've said we are willing to have a discussion. Secondly, it's on GST. If they're so keen on a GST argument, the GST, the finance minister represented the central government. So she needs to be there. She knew what exactly the discussion happened. We all really don't know what exactly happens in a GST. If they were so keen on knowing, they could have asked their own finance ministers of the Congress ruled states or the TMC ruled states, why did they not put any dissenting note when the GST on these items, which they are now harping about, could have been done. I really see no dissenting note has ever been put up by any of the finance ministers from the Congress ruled states or the TMC ruled state. Now, the other thing, if you're really so keen on the Aam Aadmi, where were you on the day Mrs. Sonia Gandhi was called for question? There wasn't one single Congress MP present in the House then. They were all out on the streets protesting. So if you were so keen, you should have been in the House. If you're so keen about them, you should have had a discussion. We were willing to have a discussion.
Again, the same point
we've allowed
that for you, the family is priority. The Congress party, for them, the family is priority. And that is the reason why we saw protests happen again today, because Mrs. Gandhi was summoned by the Enforcement Directorate for the second day of questioning.
Sonia Gandhi ji is our president. And when you are misusing and abusing the powers of the Enforcement Directorate and central agencies, everyone knows that by now. And we may not go into details of how the ruling dispensation is behaving. But when the president is called again and again, and in an open and shut case of documentary evidence, and when there is nothing, you are just putting everybody to harassment. We took up this issue not for everybody, that you are using the central agencies, whether it's ED, whether it's the CBI, whether it's income tax, and you are misusing the powers instead of having fairness in proceeding against anybody and everybody. And so why not we should stand by our president? That is the first thing. Second thing, that every time to bring that, yes, you are not taking up the issues. I am telling you how many issues we have taken up in the House. Mengai, we have taken price rise, we have taken petrol hike, diesel hike, farm laws, every time when we want to take up the issue, there is a notice by several parties, no hearing on the notice. And I think the media also should look at the main aspect that you are never shown the left side of the chairperson sitting in the parliament. You are not shown how and in what manner people are asking for the notices to be heard, to be taken up. You always see the
Anurag
other
Sharma,
side.
why
and that is where
isn't the
they come
Business
up and say that
Advisory
we are
Committee
ready, we are ready. But there is
allocating
no
time for
discussion
discussions on
we
these
definitely
very key
take up the
issues?
issues of the common people.
Why isn't the Business Advisory Committee allocating time? These are issues which are important, which should be debated in Parliament of India.
Look, we were even willing to have a discussion post 6 p.m. They were told this. The Business Advisory Committee has repeatedly said, let these bills, which are the business of the nation, be finished. Let's have a discussion post 6 p.m.
Okay,
What's the big
Sushmita
deal?
Dev?
We can sit down after 6 p.m. The parliament is run till 11,
Sushmita Dev?
11:30, 12, 1 o'clock at night. We've had long discussions.
You
And
are
as
in that
far
list
as
of
the
those
farmers' bill will be
MPs,
brought up,
19 of
farmers'
them who
bills
have
have
been suspended today.
Ma'am, if you are going
You
to have
see,
behavior
to
like
say
this,
that let me please make something very clear. Please
Ma'am,
don't
I didn't
mislead the
interrupt you.
viewers. It is nothing
I
new.
didn't-
It now whose turn is it? Whose turn is it?
I thought you had asked me.
Okay,
Maria, who's
Sushmita Dev,
supposed
go
to
ahead,
speak?
go ahead. I'll give the final words to Anurag Sharma. Yes, go ahead. Sushmita.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because I don't want to get into a tutu meme. There is nothing new about the fact that in a parliament session you can have a discussion on any topic and debate a bill. So do not tell the viewers that it is something very unusual that is going to happen. In the Business Advisory Committee meeting, opposition leaders told the chair that yes, please pass the important bills, no problem, they are small bills, allocated 2 hours, 3 hours, and simultaneously please put up our notices and we will wait for Nirmala ji, even if it takes 1 more week to come and reply or somebody else can reply. But there is a certain urgency. The message to the nation is wrong that when there is a burning issue and we all walk into parliament and keep saying, yes, pass these government bills and like there is no problem that the people are facing, it gives a wrong message to the nation. And I think a government which feels they are justifying mehengai should take it on and tell the people, give them an explanation why you're looting the nation with such high prices of fuel and LPG.
Okay.
Put your arguments forward.
Okay. 30 seconds to you, Ami Ben Yagnik, and then I'll give the final words to Anurag Sharma. Go ahead.
Yes, I think the ruling dispensation is only out to have its obstinacy in a sense. It does not want to hear the people of this country. It does not want to hear the representatives of the people of the country who are coming by way of opposition parties to the house and not giving a single chance. This kind of, I think, I wouldn't use a harsh word like intolerance, but this kind of behavior does not befit a ruling party.
Okay.
It's a ruling dispensation who has to
Anurag
take
Sharma,
everybody.
Anurag
It's the
Sharma,
government who
since
has
you
to see
quoted
that the session has to
the
go on.
former LOP, Mr. Jaitley, I'm going to quote him again. He had said that disruption is that the onus of running the house, is always with the treasury benches. What efforts have been made by your government to ensure that there is that something happens to end this deadlock? How will this deadlock end?
2. 1. When the Lok Sabha Speaker himself says the government is willing, that means we have given it in writing to the Lok Sabha Speaker that we are willing to have a discussion on the subjects brought up by the Honorable MPs. Second, when the Parliamentary Affairs Minister gets up on his chair and says to the opposition members that please sit down, go back to your benches, we are willing to have an entire discussion on the matters being brought to the House. What more assurance do you want? What do you want it to us? To hold placards in the House and say we're willing to have a discussion? Can you disrupt the House when the Honorable Minister has said that we are willing to have a discussion? Please check the Lok Sabha records. I was there. We all heard it. Now, when these burning issues of GST are concerned, let them also go talk to their finance ministers and bring those questions. We'll also like to hear them. I'm more than happy to hear the Honorable MPs from the other they have to come with the finance minister in the first place, except the
All right.
GST Act.
Anurag
We are all
Sharma,
willing to hear.
Sushmita Dev,
We are
Amiben
willing to
Yagnik,
have a discussion.
thank you so much for joining us and sharing your views.